You're listening to the 904wed.com podcast. We're going to call this The Mix. Coming up in just a little bit, we've got DJ versus DJ coming up. We're talking about weddings, DJs, everything you want to know if you're getting married in the near future. Don't go anywhere. This is going to be a great podcast. All right, here we are. We have got Kevin Toast of Party Solution Entertainment here with us today, and we've got another DJ. I don't know, whenever we've had two DJs in the room together at the same time, this is special. We've got Chris Parnell with Footloose Entertainment, Footloose Photo Booths. Let's talk to you guys first, but real quick, not everyone knows who you are. We're going to go with Kevin first. Kevin, 2 minutes, real fast, all about you and why you're a DJ.
Wes, I am a dreamy 6 foot flat 245 pounds of luscious Italian goodness. All right. I'm excited to be on today. My name is DJ Kevin. I'm with Party Solution Entertainment. And I just love being a DJ. I love entertainment. I love just killing a bride's wedding and just making her memories just last forever. It's awesome. It's wonderful. Excited. And I'm stoked to be here with Chris. Same table, microphones, just being able to talk wedding. Chris Parnell, everybody, Chris Parnell.
Where's that round of applause for Chris?
Thank you, Kevin. Man, I feel, what a warm welcome. I feel great. Again, Chris, I'm with Footloose Entertainment. We've been around since 1997, so we're kind of the old guard when it comes to weddings in Jacksonville. Of course, Kevin, he's definitely the future of this industry, or at least that's the way I look at it. Bringing us new things like this podcast. You too, also, Wes. So I'm glad to be here.
And 22 years, if I'm doing the math in my head.
22 years, yes.
And what got you into this, Chris?
You know what? A short story is I was getting married. We were interviewing our DJ, and as we're doing the interview, I was like, "Man, this looks like a fun job." And he's like, "Hey, come hang out with me." And I went out to my first wedding, and shadowed, and just fell in love with it, and just been going ever since.
I have to ask you this question before we get started. How good of a job would you say, looking back, that DJ did at your own wedding?
He did a good job. He did okay. He did okay. Once you get into it, you realize I think he did a good job for the day, for the era, because things have changed so much since I got married in 97 to now. But I think he did a good job.
All right, we're going to be talking about that. Okay. Our first segment is called Sound Off. Go figure. It's a chance for the two of you guys to sound off on different questions that I'm going to pop out there. There are no rules. There's no censor. You can say whatever you want. We just want your feelings. That's what I want brides to hear, the cold, hard truth. Something that not every vendor is going to tell them face to face, right? We all know that. We've been around. So first up, every DJ has their own setup, their own gear they bring. They have different preferences, different speakers. It seems like brides at the end of the day really don't care about that until it's the day of and they see it, and they see all the cables and the tripods, or they see a table there that's just a bare table, not even a tablecloth, right? Let's talk about setups and gear. What's your perspective on that?
I'll go first. Okay, perfect. So I would start out to say everything should be clean. That is the biggest thing that I have to beat into my guys, and it drives me crazy when I see wires hanging out. I'm a firm believer in scrims, which are the pieces of fabric or whatever you want to say that cover all of your equipment so nobody can see it. You can uplight it, but I would just keep it clean. Even when you're running speakers, you run cords, you wrap them. They don't, just keep it clean.
So all cords should be taped down, hidden.
Yes.
You should see minimal cord in your
cords. You shouldn't see any cords. Everything should be behind the booth. There should be nothing that should be seen. You should not see anything.
Agreed, 100%. Do brides really care though? Is that like a make or break kind of thing when they're looking at us even at the bridal shows? We just did one together and looking around the room, like just seeing the different booths around, how clean, some of ours are compared to others. Do brides even care? I don't think that they do wholeheartedly, but it's something that I've been, concentrating on and focused on ever since I landed here, was doing something that was different, compared to some of the other guys that have been doing it for 20 years. They all did it that certain way, and I wasn't committed to that way. I didn't think it was so. I was always pro front board. And I just hate stands in general. I hate the visibility of stands. Even the most cable management tidied up stands, I just don't like them. So I was building bigger front boards to hide them. And photographers and videographers, when they use them and put them in my setup, I don't like stands. So I just did not like it. I wanted to hide it as best I can. And I became like the DJ Nazi for our setups and making sure that it was clean.
Yeah, we've seen your posts online. We know exactly how you feel about it. And
just one or two ride home rants. Just one or two.
But let me ask you this question. More important than this, why is it that brides don't care? They should care, right? They care about decor. They'll spend, thousands of dollars on floral and table coverings or whatever, just to have some DJ in the corner completely take away from that, right?
I think it comes down to what's important to the bride. Every bride has something that's important to them. Some it's the photography, some it's the floor, some it's the entertainment. So I think it comes down to what's important to the bride, where they make the difference. Because I would say between me and myself, we're not the cheapest. Kevin is not. We're not the cheapest in the industry. And there's going to be brides that come to us and go, you're too expensive. We don't want to spend that much. That means the party's not necessarily what's important to you. And that's the way I look at it. But coming back to what Kevin said just a minute ago, I think he was a perfect example. If he says he doesn't like tripods and cords, he should be running the Bose L1s, man. That's,
Should be running the Bose L1s.
Well, let's talk about that gear. I mean, you're bringing up the gear. The last thing you should ever ask a DJ is what gear, what equipment, what speaker system do they run? They're all going to have their favorite. They're all going to tell you it's the best. I want to hear from you guys why, how you ended up where you are. And again, should brides care if you're running Bose, QSC, RCFs, JBLs? Does this ever matter to a bride? No. Or is it just a DJ thing?
I don't think you have enough time in this podcast to have two DJs, argue about speakers and types of systems. But what a bride should care about is just up to date. Something that's in this decade, in this millennium. I've seen DJs in our market with carpeted speakers, Chris,
or light up speakers, the ones that you get at Costco that light every time you hit.
I've been trying to get a pair of those.
That's it.
They're always sold out. I try to get a pair of those Black Friday.
That's it.
The ones that glow that have the
Sweet
LEDs
16
inside.
parties.
Woo! Let me get a set.
Yes.
But brides should care. They should care about what even having a controller. That is, I think, the quintessential part of what makes a DJ
I agree.
is having a controller. And some of our competitors in our market and in every market across the country. And we're in some Facebook groups with DJs that always chime in and comment on things that, you don't need to know how to DJ anymore. Like, brides don't care. Well, my brides care. My brides care that I know how to DJ. My brides care that I can split cues. My brides care that I'm wearing a set of headphones. My brides care that I'm going to be able to not have YouTube commercials playing during their first dance.
Wait. There are DJs that will have a YouTube commercial play during the wedding. How does that happen?
I hear all the time where I'll get complaints from, of course it always happens afterwards, where mid-song, the song buffers because the DJ's playing off of line. They don't own their own.
Oh, their own music, right?
Yeah, they're kind of like going to YouTube. It's just the easiest way to do it. Music's $1.29 a song if you want to go to iTunes. If you can't afford $1.29 to go buy that song, you are in the wrong business.
And those DJs are quote unquote affordable and
It's why they're affordable.
because they're not paying for their music. If you do an ethnic wedding or a wedding and for a family that you're not used to those songs, you've got to burn $50, sometimes $75 for all that music, and that's a lot for a DJ. So they're pulling this stuff, streaming it right from YouTube. If a DJ walks in and asks the venue coordinator, "What's your Wi-Fi password?" before they even get anything plugged in, sometimes a little bit of a red flag here. And for brides interviewing those DJs, does your venue have Wi-Fi? That should be generally a red flag. But yes, would you like to switch to AT&T? Comes on while a bride's doing her first dance, and it's in the middle of the song, and it's crazy. And sometimes they skip it too early, and these commercials come through. Pandora, Spotify, you can't even pay the $9.99 it costs for Spotify to not have commercials.
I want to get one of those brides on the phone that had that happen. I want to hear how that went down and exactly what happened afterwards, and did she pay that DJ in full?
They don't want to admit it. Right, everyone's got a 5-star review.
No.
Chris, do you agree?
Yes. Because it comes down to it is that if you've got a 5-star review, because brides or people in general are not going to go out there and slam you anymore because they're worried about liability themselves. So really, it's what they're going to complain to their friends, which is what really cost us.
That's what helps us. I get calls all the time. Oh, I do not want that DJ that my friend had because.
Yes.
would you like to switch to AT&T came on during their first dance. So it's actually helped us. It's the best form of publicity that we have.
I love the videos I get. I get videos from photographers and from videographers and stuff like that about other DJs, and it's funny. It's hilarious. I mean, I'll be sitting at an event and I'll get bing, 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 and then I'll get home and I'll look at them and it's like, oh my God, did you really just have to?
I live for vendor videos.
Oh, I love them.
I literally
live. And I keep them quiet. I keep them personal. Nobody knows what I get. I'm not going to tell anybody.
I share them with 10 people minimum.
Yeah. See, I don't.
When I get that DJ that's streaming, would you like to switch to AT&T? If I get that video, it's going to 10 people minimum.
So you're telling me at the events, vendors are taking video and they're sharing it with each other, kind of making fun of each other behind each other's back.
Oh, yes.
Completely.
That should be on TV. That should be not these other bridal shows where they compete for honeymoon. I want to see that stuff going on.
Bridal show. From the bridal, I literally have one on my phone of bride and groom, or not bride and groom, them doing karaoke at a wedding. They're out there just banging to karaoke at a wedding, and I got it from a wedding planner. So, I mean, yes, I get them all the time.
Does karaoke belong at a wedding? If you've got your uncle, your dad, whoever it is that wants to do karaoke, what do you tell that bride?
I mean, okay, the PG version of it is if you're into it and you and your fiance, that's all that you do when you go out on Friday and Saturday night and you're into it and you've been in just off Broadway kind of thing your entire life, I say go for it. I say have it, be a little integral part of the day, but not the entire part. But if you're just looking for something and your family's not Asian, I don't think karaoke belongs at a wedding.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if you're really into karaoke and you know your friends in karaoke, yes, do it. But I agree with him. Make it a part of the wedding. Like I always say, if you're going to do karaoke, let's do a karaoke hour or karaoke half hour. Let's not do a karaoke song, then a dance song, then a karaoke song, then a dance song, because you're never going to get that dance floor ever. So like say, okay, from 9 to 9:30, we're going to do karaoke. And then the rest of the time is dance time. So build it in there if you want it. But
Wes, you did one recently where it was all karaoke. That's what the bride wanted.
But it didn't actually go down that way. That's what's funny is it became a karaoke end. And it was actually overtime into karaoke is what happened when everyone was kind of blitz drunk, and it was actually funny. They did not do it early on in the night, thank God, because I think it would have ruined the vibe of the entire event. And I do want to clarify that I think there's a difference between someone singing a solo for a special occasion, whatever, right? That's not karaoke. Even if they're doing it karaoke style. No. We're talking about inviting random people up.
I've got
drunk
screen and they're getting the words. Yes, absolutely.
That's the karaoke we're talking about. That's a different style wedding. That karaoke wedding, it was outdoors at a campground. So I think that,
It was very chill, right? It was very relaxed. And I think there is a place for it, sometimes, but just when brides call, I just try to educate them a little bit. Yeah. And it takes a lot more. I charge more for karaoke.
I charge a little bit, because we're bringing extra equipment.
Extra gear,
yeah, we're bringing stuff. I mean, this wedding, it was 35 people. The one that I talked to happened on Saturday night. It was 35 people. It's very small. So they were trying to look for something to add to it, and they weren't big into karaoke. It went over like the bomb. I mean, they had so much fun karaokeing, which is great. That's what we like to hear. I mean, they had a good time. So
let's talk timelines here. We're talking karaoke in a timeline. We're talking when it is or isn't or ever appropriate at a wedding. Let's talk timelines. You guys have seen great timelines. You've had weddings that have run super smooth. It seems like everybody has their own view or image of what a timeline should be. Talk to me about some horror stories, some things that you definitely want to avoid, the trap you get into as a bride and groom with timelines.
To kick it off, the venue always dictates the timeline. We have some venues in our market where logistically, ceremony happens at this location, they're going to eat dinner here, then they're going to dance in a third location. That automatically dictates, kind of how the timeline rolls out. When I got here, my experience had led me to kind of chopping up the timeline, mixing in dance sets with formalities, but coming to learn how North Florida kind of did it, they really didn't do it that way. Chris, you guys have been doing it for the same way for years.
No, it's much different than weddings up north. I always like to say we're slam bam, thank you ma'am style weddings. You're 4 hours. That's cocktail hour. That's for dinner, and that's dancing. So in a 4-hour wedding reception, you're going to get an hour, maybe an hour and a half of dance music. You can't mix it up. I have personal ways I like to do it, but you're absolutely correct. You hit it on the head. A venue is going to dictate that. If you're in a barn and it's in multiple different locations, you're in a building that's 2 floors. I don't know if we're supposed to be saying names of venues or not here. But,
there's no rules here, Chris.
Yeah, okay, just hey,
none.
just
and you don't have to agree with everything Kevin says.
No, but he's right. That's the point. He's right. I got to give it to him. That's right. So
we're politely disagreeing.
Oh yeah.
He's got a way, I got a way.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we do it the same way or not.
Neither one's right.
Yeah, it just depends on the bride. I mean, I like to do it a certain way, and some people like to do it another way. So it really comes down to it.
Bride comes and says, I want a throwdown party that people talk about for years to come. Mm-hmm. How does that timeline look to you?
Depends on the venue. But if you ask me, it's definitely introductions right into your first dance. You're the center of attention. Everybody's paying attention, and honestly, you get the stress out of the way. That's really what it is. You have your blessing if you want to do a blessing, and then you have dinner. As soon as dinner is over with, you do your toast, you do your cake, and then you go right back to the dance floor and you do parents' dances. Here's the reason why. So what that does is that gives the staff time to start cutting the cake and start delivering the cake, and you're bringing the guest attention back to the dance floor. So as soon as the parents' dances are over with, boom, you're popping out with your hit to hit that dance floor going. And then a little bit later on, if they want to do a garter and bouquet, we can definitely do that, which we're honestly finding a lot of people are not doing garter and bouquets anymore. Or at least we're doing maybe just bouquets.
Just the bouquet.
Yeah, just a bouquet. But a lot of garters are going.
That's a whole nother segment.
Yeah,
Wedding
yeah,
traditions
no,
in general. Yeah. Kevin, that's the Chris Parnell method. What's the Kevin Toast method?
It's introduction, first dance. Everyone joins you at the tail end of your first dance, and then we launch the dance floor. We are family. Throw it down, old school. Get everybody up and moving. We've been 30 minutes of your snore fest of a ceremony because the pastor and the officiant went on too long. We've spent an hour just sitting around talking, around the bar, cocktail hour, and now we are, we through introductions and first dance. We're an hour and a half, 2 hours. I've been on site for 2.5 hours at your wedding. I want to boogie. I want to break it out. I don't care that it's daylight out. Like, I've got some liquor in me. Let's throw a dance party. Let's get it moving, kind of early. I don't want to wait till the very end. So I like that first little bit to get the older guests, moving. Have a nice dinner, sit down and have a nice dinner, and then go right back to open up the dance floor. I try not to do the formalities, like kind of bang, 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 get them out the way. A lot of coordinators like to do that here. A lot of venues like to do it, and a lot of brides like to do it because they want to throw down for their dance party, and they don't want to worry about putting their hair back up and getting makeup touched up. So it's for some people, the brides that come down here and say, "Oh, I'm from New York." Usually, somewhere in the mix, they say, "You have to talk to Kevin." Which I like and I appreciate it, but I'm adapting to the way that it gets done down here, and sometimes it leaves us a 2-hour, 2.5-hour dance party at the tail end, and we've had some amazing ones, but I've also seen some that end early, and I just kind of wonder if maybe we kind of did my timeline. Would we have ended an hour early? And don't say that's because I was a bad DJ, Chris. I know you're waiting for it. I can see it. Like, if you were a better DJ, man.
No. Well, what my first thing I go in my head is, how are you doing that in a 4-hour wedding reception? Because you're going to take 30 minutes right out. See, I specifically said if it was a 4-hour wedding reception.
I wasn't talking 4 hours.
Yeah.
I rarely get those.
I get a lot of 4 and 5 hours.
You frequent at those places, and we're all jealous of those because it's wham bam. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. You literally get in there with your hour dance set. You crush it.
You've got like the drive-through weddings, Chris, and Kevin has the 5-course weddings that go on for 5 and 6 hours.
Well, that's the whole point. It depends on where he's working at because, the places I'm working at are not the slam bam thank you ma'am places. I'm working at the Ritz-Carlton. I'm working at places like that. But we're still seeing those 4 and 5 hour wedding receptions. Now, when we do get into those 6 and 7 hour wedding receptions, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Get them up there and get them dancing. That's why when we started that, I specifically said this is.
I should have put the disclaimer on mine. I see more 5.5 hour minimum weddings,
including ceremonies. Or you
including ceremonies?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, when I'm including ceremonies also.
So we're on site, and some of the other venues, Club Continental, it's 4 hours. When a bride comes in,
or 5 hours.
Yeah, at 4 or 5 hours, it's a little bit more abbreviated. We can't do the the full thing.
If you're at a Bowen Oaks, it's a totally different story because you're getting it
where I have the venue all day, and they want to throw this.
So we'll do
marathon.
some dancing a little bit earlier in there, depending on where the bride wants.
I just like to mix it up. I like to mix it up, ebbs and flows. I like to treat it like a roller coaster. I like for the guest to dictate how the timeline should go. I'm not a military, kind of guy. I know we're in a military town, but hey, we're cutting the cake at 1,600 hours. I can't even do that math when I'm DJing. Like, don't come at me with 1,600.
Can't do that math when you're not DJing.
I can't. Yeah, right. I'm music. I'm BPMs. Like, don't come at me with math equations and variables.
But speaking of being flexible, you're both flexible. You're both flexible on the timeline at the end of the day.
Oh,
if
absolutely.
a bride says, or coordinator says, or planner says, this is how we're going to do it, you're going to do your best at that. This is not like this is the only way.
Oh
you do
God,
it.
no! All in all, it is the bride's day. We will do anything they want to. It's not my day.
Yeah.
It's their day. I will give you recommendations if you ask for it. If you hand me a timeline and said, this is the way I would do it, absolutely. It's your day. It's not
that's
mine.
all these are. It's just suggestions that we can offer to our clients based off our experience. Like, at this table, you're talking about, she's half a century, of experience.
Thousands of weddings.
In the wedding business. We do more weddings in wedding season than some companies do all year.
Correct.
in one wedding season. So it's just seeing a lot. It's just seeing an overabundance and seeing the trends and seeing the times and where they're kind of going.
I might go as far as to say that between the two of us, we probably do more weddings than all the companies combined in Jacksonville.
I think that's probably true.
I hope that's a good stat. I hope
that's
true.
what I'm
I
saying.
hope those are
Between the two of
factuals.
us, I mean, I think that,
And I want to clarify, the reason that is because you guys are multi-operator companies.
Yes.
You have more than just one DJ working for you.
Correct.
That is great from a reliability, redundancy standpoint, but it also allows you to be more places at the same time.
Yes.
And it's a safer bet for a bride and groom when they book you because they know there's already some choices.
Correct.
It's a personality match
Yes.
more than anything sometimes, right? I know when you're staffing your weddings, Kevin, you're looking at the bride and groom and their request sheets and how they're interacting, and you're trying to find the best person that matches up to them because you're kind of a matchmaker at that point.
Age plays a huge thing now with
Yes.
people getting married later in life. They're just not comfortable with a 21-year-old DJ currently. They want somebody that's a little bit older, a little bit more experienced, or somebody on their second marriage, or somebody's got a little bit more Spanish in their playlist, or somebody has a little bit more house or old school, whatever it is. I have to match these personalities up, and yeah, very fortunate enough to have the team that I have. Chris, I know you're super stoked about your team and all the weddings that you get to do. It's about pleasing our clients first and foremost, but coming up with ideas like these and doing segments like this where we can offer the experience to the bride beforehand. Every decision that the bride makes from inception of being engaged all the way up to the very last all affects dance time.
Yes, absolutely. Which is what we want to get to.
That's the meat and potatoes of it all. Like, the salad's pretty and the champagne's cold, but we want to get to that steak, baby.
You took an hour and a half for pictures. You just took 30 minutes off your dance time.
Right, the cocktail hours that go an hour and a half. Right. We're talking about 4-hour weddings. You can't have an hour cocktail hour, let alone an hour and a half. And when we do run late in any fashion, hair and makeup, food, pouring champagne, when anything is late, it comes right off of dance time.
Yes, everything you do ahead of time, whatever you take more time at ahead of time takes away from the end of the wedding reception. That's a thing to remember. Brides want to go out and do sunset photos. Well, if that's right at the end of dinner, guess what? You're losing your dance time. Is what you're doing.
It's always losing dance time.
Speaking of losing time, we're losing time on this segment. I have one very important question to ask. Do you even mix, right? Do you mix? Do you playlist? Do you auto mix it? Do you scratch? Do you beat match? I'm sure every bride out there is not familiar with these terms unless they've been in the business or they've gone to a bunch of weddings and they've seen, right? Oh, that guy's not mixing. He's just transitioning between songs and maybe not smoothly. Let's talk about, do you even mix? Does a DJ have to mix?
Brides need to know these terms when hiring a DJ. When they're hiring a photographer, they know these terms. They know what they're looking for. They know the styles of pictures. We don't get to display our stuff like a photographer does. So my style of DJing weddings versus Chris's versus some of our competitors, they're all different. Do I mix? I do. Does my team? Yes, we do. Do we like to go from Billie Jean to Blurred Lines? Billie Jean's 5 minutes, 45 seconds. Billie Jean's not my lover, just a girl thinks that I'm the one. We get it. By the fifth chorus, we all get it. And so does your guest. So I like to be able to cut and mix out. And I like to know that the BPM, the beats per minute that song's riding at, I like to know that I can go from different genres and not stop people from dancing.
Yes, I agree with you. We beat mix. I'm not a scratcher. I'm not. I did not start out in clubs. Now I do have Jason, who is all about that. Not my style, but yes, we definitely transition, beat mix, go in and out of songs. You're right. I can't remember the last time I played 5.5 minutes of a song unless it's just crushing the dance floor because you want to get out about halfway through it. That's kind of the point. Get on to the next one because there's so much music out there.
It's building energy and the fact that we're half an hour late from pictures. Now we're stuck out of our out of our time that was delegated to us, and now we've got to get your top 10, top 20, top 30, all these songs that you want played and you want it to get through. We have to get through them somehow. If we play 4 songs in the 30-minute dance set, all in their entirety, you're only going to get those 6 songs for that one dance set.
Yeah.
So, but our competitors are making a very healthy living and collecting a lot of weddings and building up their stats off a playlist. No controller, I mentioned that earlier. No controller, you cannot beat match. You cannot transition without a controller. You cannot split the cues without a controller, which is an external sound card, which gives you the ability to listen to it in the headphones. brides don't know any of this technology and stuff, but if they just, I think, just did a little research, listen to a podcast or two by a DJ, they can get, a little bit more educated, so that when they're going out and asking these questions, they know what style that they're going to get, versus, a guy that just hits play on a laptop and spends 45 minutes on your dance floor holding a Budweiser, wearing a Halloween mask, handing out blow-up guitars. It happens in North Florida.
I think a lot of brides and grooms and people in general don't realize what goes into being a DJ. You are a dance floor scientist at the end of the day. There is a science and an art to packing that dance floor and building that energy. You can't do it off of a playlist because you have no freedom. You can't move stuff around. If something's not working or is working, you don't have any creativity. You're kind of stuck on that playlist, right?
So, yes, to an extent. So now I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. It's the bride's wedding. If she gives me a playlist, I will play your playlist. My guys will play your playlist. That's not necessarily our preferred way of doing it, because exactly what you said. If it's not working, if we're playing off your playlist, we're stuck to that. So what I tried to explain to brides...
Hold on, Chris. Is a playlist the same as a request list? Or you're talking about...
I'm talking about a request list. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Yeah, I'm talking about a request list from the bride and groom, because it's there. We do not come with a set playlist. Absolutely not, because every crowd is different. Every bride is different. Now, yes, we're probably going to play Uptown Funk. Yes, we're probably going to play Cupid Shuffle. There's going to be those songs that get played at almost every wedding because everybody knows it.
But I was at a wedding recently, right, that I picked up through you, Kevin, and the bride even commented after, I didn't know this, that they were contemplating just doing an iPod playlist. Bringing it themselves. Uncle Jimmy was going to hit play and shuffle some songs around. What would have happened? What have you seen happen at iPod playlist weddings?
I will tell you that your coordinator absolutely hates you and talks so much smack about you to everybody else. You're putting a lot of undue stress on everybody, in attendance, and your guest didn't stuff the envelope full, of money and go register, to your registry and shop all your gifts to come to an iPod wedding. It's usually underpowered. Usually people can't really hear it. I heard one recently with an iPod wedding where they plugged into the house speakers and blew it playing the wobble through some house PA system. It's unreal to me how a bride can spend so much money on a venue, so much money on a photographer, on a dress, on flowers, and so on, and then get to the end of it and I don't have any money left over for a DJ.
Again, it comes back to what's important to the bride. So I agree. I'm not a fan of iPod DJs or iPod weddings, but it's what's important to you. iPod DJs, same thing. That's...
I'm not surprised that two DJs aren't fans of iPod DJs, but I think you've done a really good job in this segment explaining to brides some of the intricacies, the details that you don't always think about, because you can't see a DJ's pictures or videos ahead of time. You have to go on what you hear, what you saw at another wedding, all sorts of different things. And there's so many factors that can influence it. I appreciate you guys taking your time on this. It's not funny. This next segment, I'm calling it Size Matters.
Oh.
You can only imagine where we're going. And I am not talking about what you're thinking. I'm talking about size of the bridal party. I'm talking about size of the DJ company, how many DJs they have. I'm talking about size of the wedding itself, and your thoughts and feedback to brides and groups who are sitting there looking at their budget, looking at all the different guests they want to invite. That's an overwhelming experience. There's a reason it takes a year or more to plan a good wedding, right? There's a lot to look through. I'm sure they're using a planner. Maybe they're not. We've covered that, and we'll cover that more on other podcasts. But first, let's talk about the ideal size of a bridal party. Is there such a thing? Is there too few, too many?
I always say, if you've got 4 or 5 to a side, that's probably, I think, a good one. I think 1 or 2 is a little not enough. 4 to 5. But I mean, whatever.
I'm all for the Army. If you want to bring out a full football team, 11 on both sides, and they're all going to throw down for you.
That's true. That's true. It's a good way of looking at it. They're party out.
Those are my cheerleaders for the night. If they're not going to throw down for you, if bridesmaid number 37 is upset that she's not getting married that day and she's just going to hang out on her phone the whole time, I don't need her. I don't need to worry about the pronunciations of her name and the separate song that she wants to come into.
I want you want her to have had an IV that morning because she drank so much the night before. Is that what
with the bridal party, I can go on for days. Like, stop getting your hair and makeup done at 5:30 in the morning for a 6 o'clock ceremony.
You're worn out.
They're worn out.
Yeah.
They're already out of their heels before they even get to me. Like, for introductions, they're just done. I can just see the bags under their eyes. Like, when it comes to bridal parties, like in years past, Chris, we have been, just relying on these people to kind of like feed the energy of our brides,
they
of
are
our
a
couples.
lot of that. Yes, I agree with that.
Building the beat up for the grooms. The grooms are usually a little bit more socially awkward than the brides are. In some cases, not always, but but a good bit.
I've had some dancers here lately. It's funny. It's funny. I've literally had some grooms that were just like, I'm going to be on the dance floor more than the bride is. And I'm like, awesome.
And I'm jealous of that.
Yes. I mean, because that's awesome. Because I always tell the bride and groom, I said, your location of the night will depend on your guest. If you're on the dance floor, they're going to be on the dance floor. If you did a cigar roller and the groom's out there smoking cigars, your buddies are going to be out there with you.
Cigar rollers.
Oh, man, that's hot, man. It's hot.
Stop with the outside bars.
I gotta ask
Yes.
you guys see brides and grooms all day. You see them at,
yes.
you see them at the wedding, the bridal shows, right? You see them in your office. You hear them on the phone. When are you guys profiling the bride and groom to figure out like what kind of party people they're going to be?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I Facebook stalk.
98.9% of a DJ's job is people watching.
Correct. Oh, yeah.
And
absolutely.
reading body language.
Absolutely.
And if we can't, it's stereotypical, unfortunately, but I'm going to call you out. From the first time that we met at a bridal show, as timid as you come up to me and say, hi, I'm getting married at this location, I'm going to tell you how good your dance floor is going to be at your wedding. And sometimes they blow me away. I hope that they blow me away because sometimes, but back to the bridal party, just keeping the numbers at the comfort level that you want it to be at. If you know that everyone's going to be shy, just cut it down a little bit. That's just so many more headaches that you have to deal with who's going to pay for the hair and makeup, and are they going to appreciate the dress? Are they going to go out for your bachelorette party? Are they going to throw you a good shower? Are they going to be down to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get Starbucks and get the hair and makeup done?
I would also say if you've got 40 people at your wedding and you've got 12 bridesmaids, you don't want that. Because when you're doing your introduction, there's going to be nobody there to yell and scream. Because half of your guests are in.
We've seen that.
I know, that's why I bring it up. It's
some
crazy.
80, 90 person weddings, and you're looking around the room and you're like,
where's
we
everybody
don't have
at?
everybody in here.
Because they're back there getting announced.
You have seats for ceremony at 40 people, but there's 22 at the altar.
And they put seats up there, and everybody's at the back because nobody wants to sit in the front. They're like, hey, I'm going to sit in the back,
And
just
there's
in
all
case.
these empty seats. I could probably write a whole handbook on how to pick out your bridal party.
I have literally walked up at ceremonies and asked people to move. Say, hey, you're sitting on the far end. At least move to the aisle so when they take pictures, it looks like it's packed.
That's not your job, Chris.
You got to do it sometimes.
But we're trying to do it for our clients.
We're a team. So I'm looking at that also for the photographer. I'm looking at it for the bride because she doesn't want to walk down the aisle and there's empty seats because it makes her feel like she failed. I mean, they're throwing a party. That's what they're there for.
And everybody picks the back row.
That's what I'm saying. They're in the back row or they're the far outside.
Far ends, right.
Far ends, yes.
Sit on the aisle. Let's start on the aisle and work our way in.
That's just human nature, right? Unless you have people who are seating
seen.
people for you, like you have ushers, which is always a great idea if you can pull that off. If you're in that kind of location that even supports that, right? But so we're talking about bridal party, but let's talk about the wedding itself. What is there an ideal number? We have seen it all. We have seen 400-person weddings. I think you were just at a 40 or 50-person wedding.
42.
What's the smallest wedding?
16
Chris,
didn't show up.
I've done a 16-person wedding.
16 people total.
16 people total. Bride and groom, 16 people.
And that's fine as long as their expectations are set that this is not going to be a huge blowout rager till 2:30 in the morning. You give me 450 people in a hotel where all I have to do is stumble up the elevator. I got a good chance of getting to 2 a.m.
Let me tell you, I did a story. I did a wedding about 4 years ago. There was 32 guests that were invited. Okay, 32 guests. That's it. It was on Valentine's Day. Every single person was from overseas, okay? They booked me for 5 hours, and I went, sweet, 5 hours, I'm out of here by 9 o'clock. I can take my wife out for dinner. Again, it's Valentine's Day. Start talking to the photographer, because, as anybody, we get there, and we ask the photographer, how long are you here? And they're like, the photographer's like, well, we're here until 11.
Wait a second.
Well,
There's
I'm
a
done at
timeline
9 o'clock.
problem.
What are you talking about here? 32 people we're talking about. We partied until 1 o'clock in the morning with 32 people. They drank and partied. 32 people never left the dance floor until 1 o'clock in the morning. It was like a 9-hour wedding reception. I was burnt.
Overtime.
I was done. Oh, I love the overtime.
Was it done in segments? Did they come up every half hour? Like here you go. We're gonna keep going.
No, pretty much because after that I pretty much played up until 8:30 or something like that. And I went to the bride. I was like, hey, we're getting till the end because nobody came up to me. She's like, oh no, we're gonna continue to go. I was like, how long you want to go? Midnight. I went, dude, that's that's a couple hours from now.
I actually want to hear from your wife how that conversation went.
My wife's fine. My wife's fine. She's been married to me for a long time. I work anniversaries. I work birthdays. There's 2 days that I don't work in a year. I don't work my son's birthday, and I don't work the Florida State game. Other than that, I work every other day.
Florida, Georgia is high on your priority list.
Florida State.
Florida State.
Florida State.
Florida
That
State.
is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. Those are the two most important.
So you
days.
don't take off Thanksgiving. You take off the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
That is a
College
national holiday.
football.
In
I'll work-
Jacksonville,
I'll
that's a
work
national
Thanksgiving.
holiday.
I'll work Thanksgiving.
I'll work every day.
Yeah.
Absolutely every day. I'll celebrate Christmas the next day.
And
the day
that's
before.
what I'm saying. Pretty much, my son. You know, I will now because he's 19 years old. But when he was young, I would work. I'll work my wife's birthday. I'm working my birthday this year. My birthday comes up next month. I'm working it.
There is
Oh,
no
wow.
such thing as a sacred date for
No,
a DJ.
no.
Because you're hunting for the next party. Like let's be
That's
honest.
our work week. If I don't work that day,
Right.
I don't make any money. We have to make money.
So let's talk wedding size though. We know you've done a 16. We know you've done something almost as small, right? I know
Yesterday.
you both have done weddings that are into the hundreds, the 300 and
Yes.
400 easily. That's not as common anymore.
No.
Right? And I've personally seen weddings that have that many people. That's not the rager you think it would be.
Right.
Some people just don't stick around or what have you. But let's talk perfect wedding size. If you're just based on your years of experience, what is that magical number range?
It really depends on the venue, to be totally honest with you. Like when you overcram the venue, I think that leaves a level of like uncomfortability, you know, between the guests and things like that. When grandma has to play plinko to be able to get to the bathroom, you know, I think it hurts and things like that. I don't think there is a right number for me. I mean, 150, 175 seems to be a little bit better than 100 to 125. 200 to 250, I think takes too long to feed everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think takes too long to do those kind of, you know, formality things like passing out cake. Somebody says 250 people, they have to pass out champagne. I go, oh my God, there's 30 minutes right there to
Yeah,
pour champagne
yeah.
at every table.
So I'm going to go a different way. I don't really think there's a bad number. I think it all comes down to your guests. Because if you've got guests that are going to party, it doesn't matter your size. Like I said, we've had 16 people that are party. We've had 500 people that are party. I've also had 30 people wedding that left right after dinner.
Right.
And then I've had people with 400 person weddings that pretty much after dinner they left. So I think it comes down to the guests. If they're going to stay, party, and have a good time.
You got to know your guests.
Geographically, too, destination-wise, how far is the venue from population?
Right.
Again,
You know,
yeah.
Some of these venues that are out in the sticks now, you know, you've got guests traveling 40 plus minutes to get there. How much alcohol are they going to really consume if they didn't Uber out to the sticks? Are they going to be able to get an Uber home? All of this plays into...
Or you're a Thursday night wedding. Is it a Thursday wedding and people got to go to work the next day? You know, that's also
Is it a
big
Friday
thing.
wedding? Did everyone try to go to work half day
Correct.
and
Yeah.
try to get out?
Or racing after they got off work to the wedding and they're dead tired because they just worked a full day. So that's why I say it has to come down to the people. I do a lot in St. Augustine, so it's a very destination wedding, kind of what you brought. I have brides all the time that says that literally will tell me, it'll be in our timeline that at the end of the night they are going to a bar afterwards.
Right.
Make this announcement. That's when we're going to party because grandparents are gone. Parents are gone. It's going to be me and my friends or whoever wants to come and just get
How do you
blitzed.
feel about that as a DJ? They're taking the party, maybe part of the best part of the party, away from you.
Well,
right?
it's the venue. Like,
It's the venue.
It's always the venue.
Yeah,
They're always to blame.
It's the money. Okay, let's come down to it. I mean, you're spending money in every hour you're there. You're paying for the alcohol, and you're paying for the venue, the staff, the DJ, and all that other stuff. So you can go out and you can party and
Free.
not have for free.
You can go out to St. Augustine for free. The DJ's already there. The light show's already there. The bartender's already there. If you want to keep drinking, keep going. Have to pay a cover to get in.
Yeah, more than likely somebody's buying you drinks. You're not buying them if you're the bride and groom.
Right. But for us to stay and keep going, you got to pay the venue first, then you got to pay the coordinator, then you got to pay the DJ, probably the photographer to stay to do the
Grand
sparkler
exit.
exit, or we're doing a fake exit
Oh God, I hate fake.
in order to get the photographer home.
Let's talk fake exit.
Now, let's not talk fake exit. They don't exist. They shouldn't exist there.
Chris, do you agree?
Oh, I can't stand them. They're horrible. If you want to kill a party, you do a fake exit. I don't care what you say.
It's not coming back.
22 years, and I maybe one, maybe two, where you've done a fake exit and you bring them back up and they want to still dance. No, people are going to go, well, you know what? If I'm going to go all the way downstairs
To the parking lot.
I'm just going to go to my car.
I got my keys in my pocket. There's my car.
Yep.
Only bad things can happen if I go back upstairs. I'm out of here.
This is Florida. We can still watch part of the football game if we make it home.
Right, yeah. Florida State's on 8 o'clock. Like, oh, it's 10. Oh, man, I get the second half right now. Let's beat
it's,
it. No fake exits.
No, they're terrible. I understand. And I understand the photographers are building their packages now to where they're just like anybody. They don't want to stay out until 10, 11 o'clock at night. I mean, you can only get so many pictures of people dancing. But, I mean, yeah, they need to be here till the end.
So we're going to be going down a quick hit list of some of the common things that we see at weddings, right? From photo booths to uplighting to different fog effects, right? We're going to kind of talk through this. Quick opinions. We're not going to get into the gory weeds. I just want a quick 1-2 sentence answer from you guys on this, and we want to hear your raw opinions here, right? Don't hold back. So first up, uplighting, lighting effects.
I think I love uplights. I wish I could never do a wedding without uplights, unless you're in certain venues during the day. But
Mandatory.
You'll quote a wedding without uplights.
oh, of course, because I mean it's budget. People come down to budgets. It all comes down to the budget. But I think that's just one of the things that it brings so much to your wedding reception. I love it. I love it.
I charge anyone to debate with me any other piece of equipment or add-on that gives you both elegance and energy at a wedding than uplighting. Transforming pictures, photographers love it, coordinators love it, venues love it. Now there is a wrong way to do uplighting, and there's a wrong way to do uplighting.
I'm not surprised you have this feeling.
And we don't have to talk about the wrong way to do uplighting, but we do it right. And for some of those pictures that
Kevin does
completely
everything right.
I don't do everything correctly. I just
Everything.
I love uplighting. I think it
agree.
should be mandatory. It should be.
And there's a right or wrong way.
There's a wrong way. Like when you, for instance, I love Chandler Oaks. I love the historical values that venue looks like. It's very, very traditional and very throwback. And the brides that decorate that place are usually of a palette of natural tones. And I'm just a DJ here. I'm not an artiste. I'm not a female. I'm not a decorator.
Artiste.
But when I see the pale palette that most brides use in there with the greens and the natural tones, and for other DJs to bring in hot pink, hot purple, hot blue, and that ugly, horrific yellow that they try to pass off as gold, right? To get that pastel palette, they try to use that ugly green. You know what I'm talking about.
I know. I 100% agree. Now, I'll be honest with you. That's not where I thought you were going, Kevin. I really
Where
did.
did you
Where
think
was I
Kevin
going?
where
Oh,
was he going?
I could have swore it was going to come back to. I hate it when these brides are getting their uplights from their decorator, and you see these cords running all around the room because their batteries are their
Let's
uplights are
go
not
there.
battery powered.
This is our podcast.
So,
We can go wherever. I think this is important enough. We need to talk this up. Uplights that have cords are not real uplights.
No, they're not.
But for Chris to bring up something controversial,
Oh,
and
man.
not me, I'm loving this.
I thought it was coming from when you said that. I was ready for it. No, because I agree with you. Because I've run into so many problems where it's like not as much as I used to. I'll be honest with you, but we're like we'll be in a ballroom and there's the decorator came with uplights and there's 4 on a wall, but they're nowhere near centered, or because they're only can get so far away from the plug. With most DJs, not saying all of them, but most DJs, they're DMX, which means we can control them from one unit or from a control panel behind our booth. They're battery powered, so we can sit them down. There's no wires anywhere.
Right. Center of the room, totems like pillars.
Yes, perfect. And the biggest thing is how I sell to brides is if you say pink, which I'm pulling that because you said that.
I love pink.
Well, it's your color of your company. If you say, hey, I want pink, and you walk in and you go, my God, that's too pink. We can stand at one location and we can change all of them.
Right.
And then when the dance floor kicks on, you can hit a button or you can hit a control up, and they start moving, they start flashing, they add to that dance floor party. So
they're expensive. They're not cheap. Our lights are expensive. They're heavy. They require road cases that probably cost more than some other DJ's speakers.
Correct.
The Costco ones that light up.
Yes.
Yeah. So when bringing these out and the fact that we can adjust the values as your night goes along, because when you start and it's daylight out, you got one value on the wall. Then when it gets dark out, you got another value. We can actually adjust it on the fly. But that ugly yellow gold that they're passing off, it's just an old technology that they're using.
RBG.
RBG. Right. They can only do red, green, and blue, and they turn it on green. They turn it on red to make this ugly yellow green. And a surge protector, is not an extension cord.
No.
No. When I see the surge protector come out of the wall and then the light plugged into the surge protector, everyone sees that. But this is what the florists, the decorators, and so on are going to give you and rent you. And sometimes they just throw it in for free. Oh, I got free uplighting at a venue. They give free uplighting from the venue.
But
Correct.
contrary to popular belief, contrary to what you learned in school in your art class you took in 3rd grade, red, green, and blue do not make every color.
No, you
especially
can't
not the colors that brides are using.
Cannot
in their
make
weddings.
white. You
Correct.
cannot make white.
Not a real white.
Not a real
No,
white. And that's the point. You can't make gold or amber.
No.
I mean, so it's funny that I mean, we've been DMX and wireless for many years, but I pulled out my old uplights the other day and put them on Craigslist, and another DJ bought them.
That's scary. That
I mean,
means
these
another
were
DJ is going to use
RBG.
Chris's old RGB uplights at your wedding if you're not careful. So you need to be asking what question to your DJ if you're a bride and groom when it comes to uplights.
Show me the color. Jerry Maguire, show me the color.
Or, verify. Say, I mean, I know it's hard to say, well, do you have RBG, WA, UV lights? I mean, but verify that they are going to be able to do the color that you want. And other than, I guess, show me the color. That's the best way to do it. Because
Show me the color.
Again, if they say, oh, I can do gold. No, well, you can't.
Show me the color.
If you can't hold the uplight in your hand and walk around their office with it, it ain't wireless.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right, let's move on. Monograms, slideshows.
You know what? I'm on the fence about this, and here's the reason why. Here in North Florida, most of our venues, or a lot of our venues, have lots and lots of
Natural
windows.
light.
Natural light. So with monograms, I don't feel, unless you're in certain venues, you get your bang for your buck. I'm all about the bang for the buck. I'm of course I'm a salesman. I make money off of this, but if you're not going to get your money's worth, I'm not going to sell it to you. So I actually unsell monograms more than I sell them. So I love doing slideshows. I absolutely love that. We're actually adding a couple more little ideas on that coming for 2020, getting with some photographers and stuff like that. But I love those.
Kevin?
Yeah, the monograms. I've made a really, really good shtick for Party Solution, being able to do these in different locations that most DJs can't do. So I try to think out
that short throw.
I'm not going to give them my game plan over this podcast, Christopher.
Sorry.
But yeah, just being able to do it differently. We launched Cardi B, which is a road cart that's a DJ booth with a TV built in it to be able to display their monogram. Yeah, the Wes owns Cardi B. We have Cardi W that's currently in production.
Oh, so do I.
The white version?
Just the white.
So do I.
Yeah, it's I knew
November,
Chris, everything
baby.
that you're doing,
November,
I'm doing,
baby.
we're doing together. One
can't
day we're
wait.
going to take over this world with inner DJ
wait.
domination.
Can't wait.
It's
If
going to happen.
every DJ had a Cardi B and a Cardi W and wireless uplights, would you be threatened or would you be happy?
I'd be happy.
Yeah, because they're going to all charge, somewhat of the same, and then we get to, just really talk about our experience.
It's all about upping the game for me. I there's enough business out there for all of us to be working on a weekend.
Come correct, right?
Yeah. So I don't want to hear about bad parties. I don't want to hear about bad DJs, because if there's a bad DJ that doesn't show up or screws it up, that hurts the entire industry.
Gives everyone a bad rap.
If I lose my
everybody-
vendor videos, though, I'm probably going to quit.
Yeah, what would you do if you didn't have the good vendor videos coming to you every weekend of the funny beat up gear and the controller that's not even plugged in, that's just sitting there, right?
Wick.
All right. Let's move on. I've got so many other questions for brides and grooms here. Haze, fog, cloud, dancing on a cloud, CO2 cannons. They're all fog effects of some
Every
sort.
venue's afraid of it. Every venue's afraid that you're going to light up the fire, the fire alarm and
I
smoke
agree.
detectors. That
I agree.
It's almost near impossible for us to just do it, without having to call first or even have to come out and do a demonstration.
Now, yes, I agree with you to an extent, and I think that when Kevin says that, he's
Which
saying
means
that.
disagree to an extent.
Well, no. I agree with you. I think that you've been around long enough that you only have that problem at certain venues. The venues
Right.
that you're at a lot, you don't have that problem with, because I
Right.
know that you do that. I can't remember the last time I walked into a venue that said I couldn't do Dancing on the Clouds. Or gave me a hard time about it, because, well, they know that I've done it there before. We do a good job. They know, we're not coming in with haze juice, which they don't like that. Haze we stay away from. We don't touch haze. Dancing on the Clouds, CO2, those are not going to set off any type of alarms. So, I don't have as much problem as maybe you're saying you do.
Yeah, haze and fog are atmospheric, kind of effects that makes us be able to see the beams of light.
I wish we could do haze.
Yeah, at every venue. Like
Yeah.
anytime I'm bringing out intelligent club lighting, I want to be able to bring out haze and fog. And in some venues, it's really the only way that you're going to see it. you know,
Correct.
with the natural light venues, with that. So I wish it was more of a you know, a carte blanche kind of thing where, you know, hey, we've been doing weddings at this venue, you know, every single month for the last 3 years. You know what? I trust Kevin and Chris are going to do a good job, but it's just not.
You know, and I think it's because it comes down, there's been so many issues in the past. I don't think it's us. I think it's nationwide. I think it's national. I mean, all of a sudden, 2 weeks ago, we had an issue with CO2. In New York, all of a sudden,
Right.
you know, and you know, and so everybody got frozen up. Like, you can't do CO2 cannons anymore.
The CO2 tank blew up because the guy didn't do it right.
It actually didn't blow up.
Oh.
It fell over. It fell over, and it ended up turning on, and it started spinning around. That's all it did.
Mm-hmm.
So it was human error. Somebody knocked it over. I don't know if it was a DJ or guest. I'm not getting into that, but I did talk to the guy about it. And the valve got popped open. So, and it just started spinning around. And of course, when you got CO2 spinning, it's spinning fast, and it hit a couple people and it got hurt. So it wasn't an explosion like originally started.
But the wedding was ruined, and all because the DJ didn't secure it like they're supposed
Correct,
to do. You know,
correct.
when you have a CO2 cannon in every restaurant across the country, they'll have CO2 to work the guns. They have to secure them to a wall. Fire marshal will come through and do an inspection. So you have to secure it to something to make sure that it won't fall over and bend over. So yeah, bad DJs doing dumb shit.
Yeah, well,
you know,
they weren't a bad DJ.
Messes us up.
They were a big DJ company. And I don't know if who was in New York.
They made a mistake.
Yeah, there was a mistake. I mean, it was a.
This is what
stupid
insurance
mistake.
is for,
Correct.
and proper licensing and
the thing-
certifications.
And the thing about it is, how long have you been doing CO2?
A year and a half, 2
Year and
years.
a half.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it not that long, but to an extent. But have you ever heard of a problem before?
No, it's just been like this one.
That's the point.
Right.
That's kind of the point. I mean, people have been doing it for years. They're doing it in New York and other places. They've been doing it for years and never
Years.
had an issue. So it's like, but everybody's like got that freak out, like, oh my God, something happened, so we got to shut it down.
All
Shut
right,
it down.
Next question. You own a photo booth, Chris?
Multiple.
A photo booth company, I should say.
Yes.
Footloose Photo Booths. Kevin works with some exclusive photo booth providers, but you both would work with anybody if they brought a photo booth.
Oh,
in.
absolutely.
But let's talk photo booths.
Yes.
Obviously, you're going to tell me they belong at weddings, but I'm going to throw it out there. Photo booths at weddings. Not so much do they belong there. I think we're all in agreement. Where do they belong?
I'm gonna let you answer this because I own a photo booth company, so I want your opinion first.
Yeah, I'll bring it. I got out of the photo booth business and kind of partnered up with Shutter Babe Photo Booth, and we're absolutely killing it. We kind of roll out like weekly together, which is awesome. But where should a photo booth be? Not in the parking lot. All right, I like to keep the after party together. So if I'm doing the layout for a bride, give me the dance floor, give me the bar, give me the photo booth for my 2-hour dance party at the end. Give me them all in the same location. I can kind of keep all the guests in the same spot versus, you know, some of the others that put the photo booth in another room or out in the parking lot. Just keep it together. They're fun. I think they're a great addition. Much like, you know, the fake exit, you know, the photographer's got to leave. That photo booth that ends an hour and a half before the wedding's over, you know, kind of gets me too. I got to announce last call, killing my dance floor, so that they can, you know, get in there and get their last pictures done. And then I get to watch the photo booth cart his stuff across my dance floor when he's on his way out. So, you know, I'm all for it, but I'm all for it done correctly.
I agree. I 100% agree. It needs to be in the room. You do not need to separate your crowd. You don't want to do anything outside. That's why we said earlier about the cigar rollers outside. You want everything together. So when you're on the dance floor and you say, hey, I want to go take a picture, you can look over at the photo booth and go, it's packed. Let's stay on the dance floor. Or, hey, there's nobody over there. Let's go over there. So no, it all in the same room. You don't ever want to separate your guests.
Now, why did you combine your companies or that package together? And Kevin, why did you separate it?
I did it because I found that it was a value to the client. Clients like package deals. I've been very fortunate, which I think I have an idea why Kevin doesn't do it. I was very fortunate that I found a couple of employees that are reliable, and that's our biggest problem. They show up, they do their thing. You don't have to worry about them. It's kind of like your DJs.
I haven't had that experience.
Exactly.
It's all been DJ ran. So anytime we've sent out our photo booth has been by a DJ, and I'd rather book an extra wedding than have an extra, you know, photo booth gig. So it was just something that I couldn't even keep up with the technology, to be totally honest with you. I just got tired of having to go troubleshoot a printer. You know, while I'm, you know, packed dance floor, I got to troubleshoot this printer. I just wanted to you know, kind of get rid of all my gear and partner with somebody that does it, that has a successful team, that's proactive, that's out in the industry, getting all the gear knowledge and all the experience on all the technology stuff that's coming out. So that's why me and Jessica partnering up for this company has been just super easy and just a breeze for me. So it's just that's exactly it. I could not find the dedicated people like you have.
Yeah. That's why I said I got fortunate that I have a couple people that are very, very dedicated, and that's what you need. They take care of me. I don't have the problem where I have to call up and get that printer. If there's a printer with an issue with the printer, they can call them. And if they can't fix it, then I get that call. So
I've always been into the technology and the add-ons and the different things and kind of bringing the energy level up, to just unparalleled, unprecedented, kind of events here. When I got here, the DJs weren't really doing that. Chris, you're even getting into the gear now. Like you're
Are
excited.
you calling Chris a gearhead?
I mean, recently that's all we talk about.
Well, I mean, I've never been a gearhead. But by saying that, I've always tried to get the top of the line gear. When I'm buying, and I replace something every year, if not multiple things every year. I'll be honest with you, sitting in my rig right now, I don't have anything that's over a year and a half old. Even to my Bose L1, I just replaced it. I have 5 now. Because I'll replace them every once in a while, and I'll roll them down to my guys, or they'll get
For
used
those
for other
people
things.
that don't know that, that's a speaker
That's
column.
a speaker. I'm sorry. I apologize. Now we're getting gearhead.
You know you're a gearhead if you start referring stuff by the model number.
By the model number, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got the Bose L1.
Yeah. F1, GQ.
All right, really been great. You guys have agreed way more than I expected, but I'm hoping to find out some of your other opinions here in this segment we call the Final Scratch. Here we go. Photographers, flashes, videographers bring wash lights. You can't always tell them your real opinion because you're in the middle of a party. What do you really?
I can.
How do you feel about this?
I do. I do. I'm again getting old, maybe what it is, or I've been in the business so long. I've here recently. I've had it out with a couple of photographers about that.
I don't believe you.
I believe it.
I don't believe until they start ranting about you on Facebook. I don't believe you.
But the problem is they won't rant about me. They know me too well.
I have a cult
Hate.
anti-toast
Yes.
cult.
You have
Yes, you do.
a hate group, a
Anti-toast.
toast hate group.
I have a hate group.
So we'll agree
there
on
was a
this.
retreat last
We'll
week.
agree on this a lot. I hate it when photographers put their stuff, their stuff in
This is
front of my
uncensored,
booth.
Chris. This is not a wedding.
Okay,
You
just
can
making
say
sure.
what you want.
Put their shit in front of my booth because it makes us look like we are junk.
Right.
I hate wash lights. Cameras have flashes for a reason, so you can get those pictures. It'll blow out all of our colors. Now, I'm against lasers. I know the lasers. You don't want lasers sitting on the bride's dress, so I'll kick them up on the roof if I got any lasers going. But they're never going to be on the crowd because that looks terrible in pictures. But I don't know. I don't know if I answered the question or not.
We have wash lights in our setups, in our gear.
Yeah,
You
greens,
use them.
greens,
we use
reds,
them.
blues.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
right.
it throws some kind of color at the dance floor, and it's crazy to me how different Friday, Saturday, Sunday, how different the photographers are from each day. 4 stands on Friday, no stands on Saturday, 7 on Sunday.
It's crazy. I did one a while back, and fortunately, I don't work with this photographer very much. And she'll probably, if she's listening, she'll know exactly who she is. She literally did light boxes at all 4 corners of the dance floor and lit the dance floor.
The umbrellas, like the big
Yes,
umbrellas.
the big
yeah.
umbrellas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? I mean,
That's a whole different kind of uplighting right there.
Yeah, it's like, okay, let's just leave the whole freaking lights on in the room.
It's called stadium lighting.
Yes. Get a flash for your camera. And I'm not a photographer, so again, I know, but I work with a ton of photographers, and there's only a few that do this. There's really only a few.
But how do we educate a bride on being able to go out and know that she doesn't want that, and know that she's hiring the right photographer that's not going to do 4 tripods?
You can't. You can't.
We're going to cover that
because
in a future podcast.
It's
Kevin.
all- it's
we don't
all
have the
talking
time
shit.
in this one, in the final scratch, to
Whoa.
even scratch
I
the
think he's kicking
surface
us to the curb.
of that one.
They all consider it talking shit. Whenever we try to educate a bride on what not to do, it's us talking shit.
It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter because they want to find a friend. The brides do. And if they like the person, just like a DJ, if they like the person, they're going to go with them.
Yeah.
All right, remix versus original.
Ooh, I do. I'll be honest with you. I'm an original. I do
You are.
a few remixes again.
Chris
but
the
you got to
original.
remember, I started way back. I mean, I'm not a club DJ. You're more of that club, so you're probably rolling a lot of remixes. I'm now getting into that. I'll be honest with you.
But it's good. Coke needs Pepsi.
Yeah.
Right?
Coke, baby, all the way.
I do it differently than Chris does it. It's just we need each other.
So are you saying you're a remix guy?
I am a remix guy. Give me some hype. Give me Fat Man Scoop. Give me Funk
Okay.
Flex dropping a bomb on it.
Gotcha.
It just brings a different level. To be a DJ, there's so many things that go into it, from people watching to reading body language to throwing things that are out different, even throwing things that are new that aren't necessarily out there. I love throwing mashups together. Like Bruno Mars and the Bee Gees on the same track. So I'm hitting grandma and I'm hitting your younger cousin at the same time. Like I enjoy it and I like it, but I do create enemies. We do create enemies at weddings when people want the original.
Well, yeah, it's because, I mean, I do some, but I stay away from that because really you're stealing somebody else's mix.
All right,
is what you're doing.
full song or partial song?
Partial song.
Partial song.
Now, partial song could mean 2 minutes of it, 2 choruses. Partial song, how far into it?
Depends on the song.
Well, a club mix is usually like 30 seconds to a minute. I think that's too much. So when the club DJs are doing weddings, I think that's too much. You offend a lot of people
No, it's
when you do
more,
that.
Yeah, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. It depends on the song. I mean, depends
depends
on when
on
you
the-
can mix into it, too.
Right, the energy of the song.
Yeah.
Sometimes the composer's telling us when they want us to mix out of it. It's just we're reading it right there on our screens. We want you to mix out of this song at this point.
There's a cut. Uptown Funk. There's a cut in Uptown Funk where it's perfect to read out of or to mix out of.
But unfortunately, we don't get to that perfect rap of Lil Wayne that you've been practicing for 27 years at the end of Look at Me Now. We don't get to that point because that's 4.5 minutes into the song.
we're
So
not
now,
playing that much.
now you're pissed. Like, you suck. Like, yes, I do. But everyone's having a good time. So.
But they should have, if it's the bride, she should have told you about that.
Oh, if it's the bride, yeah, absolutely.
It's
Well,
never the bride. It's
But,
always
but,
the...
but if it's on her playlist, we usually play the whole song.
Yeah,
or pretty close to the whole song.
okay, yeah, disclaimer.
I'm just going by what you said. If it's on
Disclaimer.
their playlist,
On
yeah.
a bride's top
unless,
5.
unless it just kills their dance floor. If it's like, all of a sudden everybody left the dance floor, we might go out.
Which
of there early.
sometimes it will.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sometimes
yeah.
it will.
All right, how about when should the DJ be called? When should you be booked? When should you be called? It's after the venue, before the venue,
After
6
the
months
venue.
out, 2 months out. What's the number?
After the venue. You got to have a venue. If you don't have a venue, you don't have a date. That's what it comes down to. You can say you're getting married March 16th of 2020. Do you have a venue? No. Then you're not getting married March 16th of 2020 because you might not find a venue. But, there you go.
Have your planner call me. That's what I want. I want you to hire a planner. I want her to figure out what's best for you. Then I want her to call me to set up a sit-in.
I love working with planners, but I think you work with planners way more than I do.
I love it.
Oh, I absolutely. They make my job so much easier. But I work with. I just don't. Don't work with them that much. As much as
love it.
I think you do.
I love
right.
it so much.
All right, here we go. Final question for both of you. Kevin, best wedding memory ever?
Ooh.
Jeez, we should have rehearsed that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, this is raw
In
stuff.
advance,
What's
that is-
coming to your mind right now?
I like to say that I've been doing this for so long that there aren't any firsts, but there's always a first, and especially in North Florida, in a barn, you see a lot of firsts. But I'm gonna go to my Navy wedding at the Renaissance where I DJ'd from 4:30 in the afternoon till 2:30 in the morning. There was a bridal show the next
Day
day.
before the bridal show. I
And
remember that.
everyone was talking about me the next day. So
Yep.
talk about like feeling like I had made it in this town, in this city, is when I threw down the mother of all weddings. And all my people from that wedding are drunk in the lobby at Starbucks while we're all loading in.
Yeah.
It was epic.
That is epic, Chris. How
That's
about you?
epic. Ah, man, that's such a hard decision because you can go
only got
negative, you can go
22
positive.
years.
That's the point. I mean, I had a grandma break her leg on the dance floor.
Ooh.
Oh, that was scary.
That can't be your favorite wedding.
Oh, it was favorite.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I
best
misunderstood.
wedding
No,
memory.
that is 100% not my favorite. That was probably one of the scariest
Chris,
moments.
killing me today.
That was
It's
one
a
of the
good story.
scariest moments. I don't know about that. Oh
colorful
man,
commentary.
I did years ago. I did a Jaguars cheerleader wedding, and she was, and this is her words only. She was a bridezilla. I mean, she was crazy. We rocked that party so hard, it was ridiculous. She literally wrote me a 6-page thank you letter. I mean, and I mean, I get thank yous all the time. I get cards all the time. I mean,
Handwritten or
literally
email?
Handwritten.
Oh, it's so nice.
Mailed it to me, handwritten
With a stamp.
with a
It
stamp.
doesn't get done like that anymore.
She probably had a planner.
And
Brides handwrite
She
the
did have a
thank
planner.
yous.
She did have a planner. She did have a planner. I have only worked with that planner 3 times.
Even though you killed that wedding.
Killed that wedding. Yes.
Same. My favorite memory, I only worked at that planner twice.
Yeah.
It's a crazy business.
Yeah, it's crazy business.
Twice.
Well, I'm not saying that she's still a planner. They just that I haven't really worked that planner. But no, we killed that wedding. I mean, from the point that Jacksonville showed up, which is the mascot, to
Yes.
we were doing. I mean, we're up everything. It was just that was one of those nights that no matter what you played, the dance floor was
It
crowded.
hit.
It hit.
No matter what.
No matter what. And I had one more. I'll do another one real quick. I know you're running out of time. So I did
I
this
told him
wedding.
only one. We're gonna let him have
Okay,
two.
never mind.
got
All
time.
all right. We got time.
No, go ahead.
You're
Come
kicking
on,
me
Chris.
off, man.
No,
I
give
like
it
to
to him.
talk. I did a wedding, and the bride and groom, they were both late 30s. And when we sat down and did our finalization meeting, they go, this is nothing but friends. There's no grandparents, no family there. They go, we want nothing but old school hip hop from the time the dancing started.
Let's go.
Best party
Music to any
I'm pulling
DJ's ears.
I'm pulling
I'll
out
do it for free.
donkey boots, or I'm just just you name it.
Two Live Crew.
I did Two Live Crew.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we want dirty. I kept it clean, but because there are some Two Live Crew.
You won't even
95
cuss on this
South.
show. Of course, you kept
Yeah.
it clean.
Well, you know.
Fletcher High School.
I've been doing this too long. It was by far probably one of my favorite weddings. So there's a lot of them.
Chris, Kevin, you guys have been great sports today. We've had Chris from Footloose Entertainment, Footloose Photo Booth. That's Chris Parnell. We've had DJ Kevin Toast with Party Solution Entertainment here on our 904wed.com wedding podcast. If you're bride or groom getting married, you definitely want to call both of these guys and figure out which one meshes with you the best, because there's no question you guys are great DJs. Even though you've disagreed on some things, I think you've agreed on some of the most important stuff. So thank you so much for being on this podcast. This podcast is brought to you by jackshomes.com. If you are getting married, we want to help pay for your wedding. Reach out to us online and find out more. Stay tuned to our podcast. Follow us online. We want to hear from you. We even want to have some brides on our shows coming up in the future. We're going to call that section Phone a Bride. But for now, Kevin, Chris, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We will see you guys on our next episode.
Bring the beat that moves your feet.
Oh, so we've got the beat that moves your feet, and we've got the solution.
You should be from the Jersey store with the solution. Come on now.
If you
Wow.
ever
Kenny Loggins called and he wants his company back.
That's it, baby. Don't
if
hate.
you ever wanted to get raw DJ advice, this is the podcast for you. Of course, we have all sorts of other podcasts, but
Bonus content.
right now we have got some bonus content that came up right after we ended a podcast, and we came back into this room to hash this one out. And we know this: if you get a wedding invite in the mail, and you are invited to come to a wedding, and it says casual or elegant or formal or who knows, some of the other crazy stuff people come up with, right? It's pretty clear what to do, right? There's not much question. You're going to get looked at if you show up in shorts, at a black tie, etc. But let's talk about
Happens.
what DJs wear. DJs wear some crazy ass shit. They don't all wear the same stuff.
Some of them do.
Some of them.
In North Florida, the range is pretty vast.
It is.
Let's talk
It
about
is.
that, because Kevin, you're not a small man.
I am not.
You get booked for an outdoor wedding in the summer, 105 degrees out. What are you wearing?
I'm not quite big and tall yet, but I'm pushing the limits currently. But I'm a shorts guy. Like, you got me out in August loading into a tent. I'm wearing shorts to load in. I'm wearing shorts to set up. Probably throughout your ceremony too, because I got to put that stuff back in the car. So like I'm just a shorts guy.
Now you're party from the waist down, your business from the waist up.
Always business from the waist up. I'm always wearing a polo. I'm not wearing basketball shorts, and I'm not wearing slides, but like a nice pair of golf shorts, shirt tucked in as best as I can. I think just to try to stay cool. And to be honest with you, I've split more seams of the ass of my pants than I care to count, and I got to keep paying to get them fixed because I got to drop down on the floor. I got to tape these cords down. I'm in and out lifting this equipment, and just being I got some junk in the trunk, and I've been known to bust a seam or two at a wedding. So some gaff tape has helped me out in more ways than one.
Gaff tape, by the way, is professional tape that doesn't leave a mark behind, that all of us in the production business, whether it's film or DJ or audio, we use. Chris, now something tells me you wouldn't be caught dead in shorts at a wedding.
No, absolutely not. It's not professional.
Would you even wear shorts to set up?
No, absolutely not.
You were going to set up in your actual attire that you're wearing?
No, oh God, no. No, I'm not saying that. So no, our normal setup is a suit pants and t-shirt. That's our normal setup. Now, if we're outside, yes, we'll come in. Maybe
We're talking like a wife beater, like a white t-shirt?
No, like it's all black.
All black, okay.
All black t-shirt. Sometimes t-shirts with our logos on it or something like that. But no wife beater, no rips. Again, it's the professional. It's a look, because you're not only you there to shine for the guest, or the bride and groom. You're also there to shine for the venue.
Should the DJ be in all black?
No. They don't have to wear all black.
I think it's a pop of color and is never too bad. I think too much color is a bad idea.
Oh God, yes.
Like the matching vest with the matching tie and the matching pocket, like 1980 called again. Footloose, I want my DJ name back.
No, that's not how we dress.
Yeah.
Don't put my name in that.
No, but there are guys that are out there that are just kind of overdoing
They're
it.
still rocking the tuxedos to the wedding reception. Still rocking the banded collar with a little diamond right there.
Little rhinestone.
Little rhinestone.
Yeah,
Remember those?
right in the
I mean,
middle.
there's still pictures out there for me from just a few years ago wearing that.
Update your website and the pictures will go away.
Wow.
So you guys are fashion forward, right?
So I do have a video on my phone of when Kevin was at a wedding in shorts.
Vendor videos.
Vendor videos. I think everybody has this one because this is the one where somebody dropped his microphone and he about lost it. And this was not during the ceremony. This was way into the reception.
I gotta ask. If you're in shorts, are you not stepping out from behind your booth? Because your booth is covering you up. Unless you're looking to the sides, right? Strategically, no one would know you're in shorts, right? That's got to be your mentality on this.
I mean, I've gotten messages from planners knowing that we're going to be outside in a tent and saying shorts are okay. I love that. Give me that.
I have never once ever had that happen. In
Shorts
22
are
years.
okay.
Never.
They want it super casual, kind of like a beach wedding.
Okay. Now by saying that, I have done that at a One Ocean where it's polo or Hawaiian shirt stuff like that. So I've done that. So yeah, I understand that. But yeah, no. If everybody's in suits, you need to be in a suit, brother.
Yeah, I'd love to see a copy of the invitation that says black tie in advance. Just so that we know. But
suits are not black tie.
Suits are not black tie?
No, suits are not black tie.
So it has to be a tuxedo to be black tie?
Well, that's what black tie means.
It means tuxedo.
Black tie means tuxedo.
But it's 2019, soon to be 2020.
Black tie means tuxedo.
Even the red carpet, which is considered black tie affair, will have those skinny black ties and black suits.
Well, that's technically a tuxedo nowadays. They're still wearing a tuxedo jacket.
Right. I've never in North Florida seen any DJ wear a tuxedo.
We rarely wear tuxedos, but you said you brought up black tie.
A black tie at the Ritz-Carlton, which is black tie.
But you're taking it literally.
Yeah,
black tie really means tuxedo jacket. There's so many different variations of the tie.
So the point of it is if it's anything other than casual, there should not be shorts. I mean, if a guest walked in to the Ritz-Carlton, because you said Ritz-Carlton, and it's a casual wedding and they're in shorts, we're going to laugh at them, aren't you? If they walk in with jeans to a wedding reception, we're not saying at the Barns. What are you going to say?
At the Barns.
At the Barns. You're going to.
I've literally made posts about how
people.
guests operate, and they come in their etiquette at these wearing white sandals and shorts and professional fishing gear, and it's different, and maybe
PFG baby.
PFG is not considered upscale attire for a wedding.
Shorts are not considered upscale attire for a wedding.
I'm fat and I'm loading gear around.
We're talking. You said you'd wear it during the ceremony.
You didn't see it at a reception. You saw it right after.
That was at a reception because they were doing the speeches because the best man dropped your microphone.
The father of the groom.
Or father of the groom.
Maybe the air conditioning was out. I mean, cut up some slack, Chris.
Drop my
Hey,
microphone.
you said you wanted this.
Yeah,
That's what you wanted.
vendor videos.
Vendor videos, baby.
Yeah, Coastal Creations, Austin created a highlight reel of the father of the groom welcoming
hilarious.
everybody from after the ceremony into the venue.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, and so it was right after the ceremony, and he had dropped my mic. Thank God it was on the grass. It is not okay. I repeat, not okay to drop the mic.
No, absolutely not.
At a wedding.
No.
Unless it's handed to you from a corny DJ and it's blown up. It is not okay.
It's still not okay.
To drop the mic.
It's still not okay.
It is not okay.
It's not your
But
stuff.
it's okay to wear shorts at a wedding.
I think to load in, I think it's fine. I think.
Okay, let's get to the point. Nobody's saying anything about loading in. We're talking about during ceremony, during cocktail hour, during reception, during the ceremony. When you're loading in, technically that's your own time.
Yeah, you've never seen me or any of my team in shorts at a reception unless it was previously okayed by a bride.
Okay. So how about polo shorts? The logo polo shirt.
I'm all about the logoed polo shirt. I think it's uniform throughout. Our team and brides have come to expect that to be a part of our setup.
Chris?
No, suits.
Suit.
Only.
Jacket.
Suit jacket, yes.
With a jacket.
With a jacket.
You're not DJing.
Now I don't always wear the jacket because I wear a vest. I'm a little chubby myself. Don't get me wrong. But I'll wear a vest.
All right, so you're wearing the vest to cover up some chubbiness.
Yeah, correct. And I think it's stylish.
slim you down.
I think it's a little more stylish too. So wearing that. So yeah, and it also helps because whenever you got the vest on, you can take the jacket off. You can still mix and you can still do all that stuff and have your tie keep hitting the board.
All right, but I got to ask. At the end of the day, do you guys ask the bride what she or the groom want you to wear, or you just assume? Does a bride need to make sure they go out of their way to tell their DJ, right, what attire they want them in, or should it be the other way around?
I hope that it's been just set in stone that it's not okay to wear a flannel shirt and studded jeans, to
Yeehaw!
a wedding reception as a DJ. I hope so. Hope you don't have to worry about that.
Depends on where you're at.
But when it comes to collared shirt, long sleeve shirt, tie, no tie jacket, who makes that call at the end of the day?
The bride.
But do you wait for the bride to tell you, or do you ask every time?
It's actually in our planning forms. It'll give them the option of how they want to dress or how we want to dress, but it's kind of like the default is suit.
Kevin?
Yeah, I just think it's kind of like a uniform thing with the company. Walmart, I know when I walk in, I'm going to see that color. When I walk into Target, I'm going to see that color. I'm going to see that polo shirt with the khakis.
Did you just call a wedding Walmart?
I did not call a wedding Walmart. I think that when it comes to...
If you went to the Ritz-Carlton, and what are the staff wearing?
They're probably going to be in full suits, if not full tuxedos.
If you go to Club Continental, what are the staff wearing?
Button-down shirt of some kind.
Black pants. Black shoes.
Right.
They're all...
Yeah.
The point of it is it's a uniform. And as a DJ, we have a uniform. And the uniform...
And I think Footloose has a uniform. I think Party Solution has a uniform. And I think your guys are all consistent throughout. My guys are all consistent throughout. But it's one of those things. Does a bride really know to ask these questions? No. And I'm comfortable and confident that I don't want her to know. And I want her to just keep letting us do, kind of what we do. Once I get overheated, and you both can attest to this. Once you get overheated loading in for a wedding, you just never come down from that.
Yeah, you don't want to be that sweaty mess of a DJ. At the end of the night, you go up to congratulate the bride and groom, and you're wet from sweat.
Wet.
Yeah, I got you. I agree 100%.
Wet.
Moist.
Yeah, well,
like your gray suit
on that note
is now black.
Right.
Black.
On that
moisture.
note, we are going to end this bonus segment, but I think we've given some brides and grooms something very important. Like, it's not going to be on a wedding DJ's website, right? It's going to be something you need to ask the DJ. We have asked Kevin, we have asked Chris, what is your attire? Because you don't want your DJ on a scale of 1 to 10 to be a 1 compared to the rest of your
How early are you going to show
attendees,
up?
Right?
How early are you going to show up?
Oh, you're Mr. Early. You're there for lunch.
Hey, get my stuff done, baby.
Your time is money for me. Like I'm good, comfortable at 2 hours.
2 hours before a wedding?
Ceremony.
Oh.
Start time.
2 hours. You're there 2 hours before the event
You're telling
starts.
me you will show up to 4 hours in advance?
No. No. I'm the hour before the event. Hour and a half max.
I thought you were the opposite.
Oh, God, no. Absolutely not.
We're two.
You guys are learning about each other.
No,
here.
We're
absolutely
standard
not.
two.
It depends on the venue, and I'll say for the white room as an example where we know the parking's not the greatest. I'll get there extra early because I plan on sitting downstairs and waiting for a parking spot to come available, so I don't park in BFE. But no, I mean if it's a Club Continental, it's a Ritz-Carlton, it's wherever it's going to be. No, we're usually there an hour and a half max.
All right, well, we try to keep these shows at an hour and a half max.
Jeez, you're trying to
And
get
so
it,
we are running out of time, but hey, there is always another podcast, right? There's
You gonna
always
invite me
another podcast.
back?
We might invite you back, Chris.
Part two.
Part two?
You've been a good sport. We'll see what kind of feedback we get from the brides and grooms.
Next time let's do a little later so we can have a couple drinks, and that would be fun.
There we go.
Cocktails.
Cocktails.